Welcome to today's comprehensive tutorial on random variables and distribution functions. This is an advanced probability theory presentation from the mathematics department. Today is September 15th, 2025, and we'll be exploring one of the most fundamental concepts in probability theory. I'm excited to guide you through this mathematical journey that will build your understanding from basic definitions to real-world applications. Let's begin by clearly outlining what you'll master by the end of this presentation. By the time we finish, you will be able to define random variables formally using precise mathematical language. You'll distinguish between discrete and continuous random variables, understanding when each type applies. We'll construct and analyze probability mass functions, or PMFs, for discrete cases. You'll work confidently with probability density functions, known as PDFs, for continuous variables. We'll thoroughly understand cumulative distribution functions, or CDFs, which work universally for all types of random variables. Most importantly, you'll apply these concepts to solve real-world problems and analyze both Bernoulli and binomial distributions using multiple solution approaches. Before we dive into new material, let's quickly review the essential background knowledge you'll need. From set theory, you should be comfortable with sample spaces, events, and set operations. Your basic probability foundation should include axioms, conditional probability, and independence concepts. From calculus, we'll use integration, differentiation, and limits extensively. Combinatorics knowledge of permutations and combinations will be valuable. Finally, you should understand functions including domain, range, and inverse functions. For key probability concepts, recall that a probability space is denoted as omega, script Fp, representing sample space, sigma algebra, and probability measure respectively. Now let's establish the formal mathematical definition of a random variable. A random variable x is a function that maps each outcome in the sample space S to a real number. We write this as x colon S arrow r, where r represents the real numbers. This might seem simple, but there are key properties to remember. First, x must be a measurable function. This ensures we can properly calculate probabilities. The domain is always the sample space S, while the range is a subset of real numbers R. When we write x of omega, this represents the value assigned to a specific outcome omega that belongs to S. This formal definition is crucial because it transforms abstract sample space outcomes into numerical values we can analyze mathematically. Mathematical notation is critical for clear communication, so let's establish our conventions. We always use capital letters like X, Y, Z to denote random variables themselves. Specific values that these variables can take are written with lowercase letters like X, Y, Z. Events involving random variables are written using set notation. X equals X represents the event where the random variable takes the specific value X. X less than or equal to X represents cumulative events, and a less than X less than or equal to B represents interval events. Random variables fall into three main types. Discrete variables take countable values, continuous variables take uncountable values over intervals, and mixed variables combine both discrete and continuous components. Let's explore discrete random variables in detail. These variables take countable values, which can be either finite or countably infinite. Common examples include the number of coin flips needed to get heads, dice outcomes, and counting processes like the number of customers arriving at a store. The range of a discrete random variable looks like x sub 1, x sub 2, x sub 3, and so on. The key mathematical tool for discrete random variables is the probability mass function, abbreviated as PMF. We write this as P sub x of x equals P of x equals x. Here's the crucial insight: PMF values are actual probabilities, so they must be between 0 and 1. This is fundamentally different from continuous cases, as we'll see shortly. Continuous random variables take uncountable values, meaning they can assume any value within an interval. Examples include height, weight, time measurements, and temperature readings. The range is typically intervals like a to b or negative infinity to positive infinity. For continuous variables, we cannot use PMF because there are uncountably many possible values, and the probability of any specific value is 0. Instead, we use the probability density function, or PDF, denoted as f sub x of x. The PDF satisfies P of a less than or equal to x less than or equal to b equals the integral from a to b of f sub x of x dx. This is critical to understand. PDF values are not probabilities, they are probability densities. The actual probabilities come from integrating the PDF over intervals. Let's work through a concrete example to solidify these concepts. We'll roll to fair 6-sided dice and define several random variables. Our sample space S consists of all ordered pairs I, J where both I and J range from 1 to 6, giving us 36 equally likely outcomes. We'll define 4 different random variables on this space. X equals the sum of the two dice, so x of I, J equals I plus J. Y equals the product of the two dice, so Y of I, J equals I times J. Z equals the maximum of the two dice, so Z of I, J equals max of I, J. Finally, W equals the absolute difference, so W of I, J equals the absolute value of I minus J. Each of these functions maps our 36 outcomes to different sets of numerical values. Now let's determine the range of each random variable. For x, the sum, the possible values are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. For y, the product, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15, 16, 18, 20, 24, 25, 30, and 36. Notice that 7, 11, 13, and other values are impossible as products. For z, the maximum, we simply get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For w, the absolute difference, we get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of these are discrete random variables since they take countable values from finite sets. Let's analyze the distribution of x, the sum of two dice, by counting outcomes systematically. A sum of 2 occurs only with outcome 1, 1, giving probability 1 over 36. A sum of 3 occurs with outcomes 1, 2 and 2, 1, giving probability 2 over 36. A sum of 4 occurs with outcomes 1, 3, 2, 2, and 3, 1, giving probability 3 over 36. Continuing this pattern, sum of 5 has 4 outcomes with probability 4 over 36, sum of 6 has 5 outcomes with probability 5 over 36, and sum of 7 has 6 outcomes 1, 6, 2, 5, 3, 4, 4, 3, 5, 2, and 6, 1, giving the highest probability of 6 over 36, which equals 1/6. Completing our analysis, sum of 8 has 5 outcomes with probability 5 over 36. Sum of 9 has 4 outcomes with probability 4 over 36. Sum of 10 has 3 outcomes with probability 3 over 36. Sum of 11 has 2 outcomes with probability 2 over 36. And sum of 12 has 1 outcome with probability 1 over 36. The total is 36 outcomes with total probability 1. Key observations: the most likely sum is 7 with probability 1/6. The distribution is symmetric around 7, and we can verify our work. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 equals 36. Now let's examine a continuous example. Consider a spinner with a circular disc divided into colored sectors. Red occupies 2/3 of the disc, while blue occupies 1/3. Our sample space S is the interval 0 to 2 pi, representing angles in radians where the spinner can stop. We define our random variable x as the angle where the spinner stops, so x maps from the interval 0 to 2 pi to itself. This is a continuous random variable because the spinner can stop at any angle within this interval, giving us uncountably many possible outcomes. Let's establish the sector boundaries and define and indicate a random variable. The red sector occupies the interval from 0 to 4 pi over 3 radians. The blue sector occupies the interval from 4 pi over 3 to 2 pi radians. We can define and indicate a random variable y where y equals 1 if the spinner lands on red, and y equals 0 if the spinner lands on blue. This creates a discrete random variable even though the underlying angle x is continuous. The probabilities are p of y equals 1 equals 2/3, representing the proportion of the disk that is red, and p of y equals 0 equals 1/3 for the blue portion. Let's formally define the probability mass function for discrete random variables. For a discrete random variable x with range r sub x, the PMF is defined as p sub x of x equals p of x equals x. The key insight that distinguishes PMF from PDF is this: p sub x of x is a probability, so it must satisfy 0 less than or equal to p sub x of x less than or equal to 1 for all x. This is fundamentally different from PDF where values represent densities, not probabilities. The PMF gives us the actual probability that a random variable takes each specific value in its range. Every valid PMF must satisfy 4 essential properties. First, non-negativity. P sub x of x greater than or equal to 0 for all x. Second, 0 outside range. P sub x of x equals 0 if x is not in R sub x. Third, normalization. The sum over all x in R sub x of P sub x of x equals 1. This ensures total probability is 1. Fourth, event probability. P of x in A equals the sum over all x in A of P sub x of x. For mathematical operations, we calculate P of a less than or equal to x less than or equal to B by summing P sub x of x from x equals A to B, and P of x greater than A by summing P sub x of x over all x greater than A. Let's work with a modified 6-sided die to illustrate PMF calculations. This die has faces numbered 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. Notice the repeated values. Our sample space S consists of 1 sub A, 1 sub B, 2, 3 sub A, 3 sub B, 3 sub C, where subscripts distinguish physically different faces with the same number. Our random variable X represents the number showing on the top face. The range R sub X equals the set 1, 2, 3. This setup allows us to calculate how the repeated faces affect the probability distribution. Now let's calculate the PMF step by step. P of X equals 1 equals P of the event 1 sub A, 1 sub B, which equals 2 over 6, simplified to 1/3. P of X equals 2 equals P of the event 2, which equals 1 over 6. P of X equals 3 equals P of the event 3 sub A, 3 sub B, 3 sub C, which equals 3 over 6, simplified to 1/2. Let's verify this is a valid PMF. 1/3 plus 1/6 plus 1/2 equals to plus 1 plus 3 over 6 equals 6 over 6 equals 1. Our PMF table shows X equals 1 has probability 1/3, X equals 2 has probability 1/6, and X equals 3 has probability 1/2. Using our PMF, we can calculate various probabilities. P of X less than or equal to 2 equals P of X equals 1 plus P of X equals 2 equals 1/3 plus 1/6. To add these fractions, 1/3 equals 2/6, so 2/6 plus 1/6 equals 3/6 equals 1/2. P of X is odd equals P of X equals 1 plus P of X equals 3 equals 1/3 plus 1/2 equals 2/6 plus 3/6 equals 5/6. P of 1 less than X less than or equal to 3 equals P of X equals 2 plus P of X equals 3 equals 1/6 plus 1/2 equals 1/6 plus 3/6 equals 4/6 equals 2/3. Key properties: the mode is X equals 3 since it has the highest probability of 1/2, and the distribution is right skewed. Let's examine a joint PMF for two independent fair dice. Let X equal the first die result and Y equal the second die result. Since the dice are independent, the joint PMF factors as P sub X, Y of X. Y equals P of X equals X and Y equals P of X equals X times P of Y equals Y. For fair dice, each individual outcome has probability 1/6. So P sub X, Y of X, Y equals 1/6 times 1/6 equals 1 over 36 for all pairs X, Y in the set 1 through 6 times 1 through 6. We can verify independence because P sub X, Y of X, Y equals 1 over 36 equals 1/6 times 1/6 equals P sub X of X times P sub Y of Y for all valid pairs. For continuous random variables, we cannot use PMF because there are uncountably many possible values and P of X equals 0 for any specific value X. Our solution is the probability density function, or PDF, for a continuous random variable X. The PDF f sub X of X satisfies P of a less than or equal to X less than or equal to B equals the integral from A to B of f sub X of X dx. This is critical to understand. F sub X of X is not a probability. The PDF represents probability density, and we must integrate over intervals to obtain actual probabilities. Every valid PDF must satisfy 4 essential properties. First, non-negativity, f sub X of X greater than or equal to 0 for all X. Second, total area equals 1. the integral from negative infinity to positive infinity of f sub x of x dx equals 1. Third, probability calculation. P of a less than or equal to x less than or equal to b equals the integral from a to b of f sub x of x dx. Fourth, point probability. P of x equals c equals 0 for any specific value c. The interpretation is crucial. F sub x of x represents probability density, meaning probability per unit length. For small dx, f sub x of x times dx approximately equals p of x less than x plus dx. The height indicates relative likelihood, while area under the curve gives actual probability. Let's compare PDF and PMF systematically. Random variable type, PMF applies to discrete variables, PDF to continuous variables. Function values, PMF values are probabilities bounded between 0 and 1, while PDF values are densities that can exceed 1. Point probability, PMF gives P sub x of x equals P of x equals x, while PDF gives P of x equals 0. Interval probability, PMF uses summation over the interval, PDF uses integration. Normalization, PMF sums to 1 over all possible values, PDF integrates to 1 over its entire domain. Remember, PDF values can exceed 1 because they represent density, not probability. Let's work with a specific PDF example. Consider a random variable x with PDF f sub x of x equals to x over 9 if 0 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 3 and 0 otherwise. First, let's verify this is a valid PDF. Step 1. Non-negativity check. Since x greater than or equal to 0 in the support interval, f sub x of x greater than or equal to 0 is satisfied. Step 2. Total area calculation. We need the integral from negative infinity to positive infinity of f sub x of x dx, which equals the integral from 0 to 3 of 2x over 9 dx since the function is 0 outside this interval. Let's calculate the total area. The integral from 0 to 3 of 2x over 9 dx equals 2 over 9 times the integral from 0 to 3 of x dx. Using the power rule, the integral of x dx equals x squared over 2. Evaluating from 0 to 3, 2 over 9 times x squared over 2 from 0 to 3 equals 2 over 9 times 9 over 2 equals 2 over 9 times 9 over 2 equals 1. This confirms we have a valid PDF. The shape represents a right-angled triangle with base from 0 to 3 and height at x equals 3 of f sub x of 3 equals 2 times 3 over 9 equals 2 thirds. Now let's calculate probabilities using our triangular PDF. To find P of x less than or equal to 1, P of x less than or equal to 1 equals the integral from 0 to 1 of 2x over 9 dx equals 2 over 9 times x squared over 2 evaluated from 0 to 1 equals 2 over 9 times 1/2 equals 1/9. For P of 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 2, P of 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 2 equals the integral from 1 to 2 of 2x over 9 dx equals 2 over 9 times x squared over 2 evaluated from 1 to 2 equals 2 over 9 times 4 halves minus 1/2 equals 2 over 9 times 3 halves equals 1/3. Let's find the median m such that P of x less than or equal to m equals 0.5. Setting up the equation, the integral from 0 to m of 2x over 9 dx equals 0.5. This gives us 2 over 9 times m squared over 2 equals 0.5, which simplifies to m squared over 9 equals 0.5. Therefore, m squared equals 4.5, so m equals the square root of 4.5 equals 3 over square root of 2, approximately 2.12. Properties of this distribution include support on 0 to 3, mode at x equals 3, which is the highest density point, and it's right skewed since the mean is greater than the median. The cumulative distribution function, or CDF, works for any type of random variable. This is what makes it universal. For any random variable x, we define f sub x of x equals p of x less than or equal to x. Why is the CDF universal? It works for discrete, continuous, and mixed random variables. Unlike PDF, it always gives probabilities, not densities. It provides a complete description of the distribution. It's extremely useful for finding quantiles and percentiles. The CDF is the most general way to characterize any probability distribution. Every CDF must satisfy 4 universal properties. First, range 0 less than or equal to f sub x of x less than or equal to 1 for all x. Second, monotonicity. If x sub 1 less than x sub 2, then f sub x of x sub 1 less than or equal to f sub x of x sub 2. Third, limits. The limit as x approaches negative infinity of f sub x of x equals 0, and the limit as x approaches positive infinity of f sub x of x equals 1. Fourth, right continuity. The limit as h approaches 0 from the right of f sub x of x plus h equals f sub x of x. For probability calculations, p of a less than x less than or equal to b equals f sub x of b minus f sub x of a, and p of x greater than or equals 1 minus f sub x of a. The CDF connects beautifully to both PMF and PDF, building CDF from PMF or PDF. For discrete variables, f sub x of x equals the sum over all t less than or equal to x of p sub x of t. For continuous variables, f sub x of x equals the integral from negative infinity to x of f sub x of t dt. Recovering PMF or PDF from CDF, for discrete variables, p sub x of a equals f sub x of a minus f sub x of a minus, where a minus represents the left limit. This gives the jump size. For continuous variables, f sub x of x equals the derivative of f sub x of x. This two-way relationship makes the CDF incredibly powerful for analysis. Let's construct a CDF from a given PMF. Our PMF is p sub x of x equals 0.2 if x equals 1, 0.3 if x equals 2, 0.1 if x equals 4, 0.4 if x equals 5, and 0 otherwise. Building the CDF step by step. For x less than 1, f sub x of x equals 0 since there's no probability mass below 1. For 1 less than or equal to x less than 2, f sub x of x equals p of x less than or equal to x equals p of x equals 1 equals 0.2. For 2 less than or equal to x less than 4, f sub x of x equals p of x equals 1 plus p of x equals 2 equals 0.5. Completing our CDF construction, for 4 less than or equal to x less than 5, f sub x of x equals 0.5 plus 0.1 equals 0.6. For x greater than or equal to 5, f sub x of x equals 1.0. Our complete CDF is f sub x of x equals 0 if x less than 1, 0.2 if 1 less than or equal to x less than 2, 0.5 if 2 less than or equal to x less than 4, 0.6 if 4 less than or equal to x less than 5, and 1.0 if x greater than or equal to 5. Key features include step function with jumps at discrete values, jump sizes equal the PMF values, and right continuity at jump points. Let's use our CDF for probability calculations. P of x less than or equal to 3 equals f sub x of 3 equals 0.5. P of x greater than 2 equals 1 minus f sub x of 2 equals 1 minus 0.5 equals 0.5. P of 1 less than x less than or equal to 4 equals f sub x of 4 minus f sub x of 1 equals 0.6 minus 0.2 equals 0.4. P of x equals to equals f sub x of 2 minus f sub x of 2 minus equals 0.5 minus 0.2 equals 0.3. For quantiles, the median is f inverse sub x of 0.5 equals 2, and the 75th percentile is f inverse sub x of 0.75 equals 5. Let's build the CDF for our triangular distribution from earlier. Recall f sub x of x equals to x over 9 for 0 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 3. Building CDF by integration, for x less than 0, f sub x of x equals 0. For 0 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 3, f sub x of x equals the integral from negative infinity to x of f sub x of t dt equals the integral from 0 to x of 2t over 9 dt equals x squared over 9. For x greater than 3, f sub x of x equals 1. Our complete CDF is f sub x of x equals 0 if x less than 0, x squared over 9 if 0 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 3, and 1 if x greater than 3. Let's verify our CDF and use it for calculations. Boundary check. F sub x of 3 equals 3 squared over 9 equals 9 over 9 equals 1. Derivative check. D over dx of x squared over 9 equals to x over 9 equals f sub x of x. Now for probability calculations, P of x less than or equal to 1.5 equals f sub x of 1.5 equals 1.5 squared over 9 equals 2.25 over 9 equals 0.25. P of x greater than 2 equals 1 minus f sub x of 2 equals 1 minus 4 over 9 equals 5 over 9. P of 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 2.5 equals f sub x of 2.5 minus f sub x of 1 equals 6.25 over 9 minus 1 over 9 equals 5.25 over 9. The Bernoulli distribution models the simplest random experiment, a single trial with exactly two possible outcomes. We code success as 1 and failure as 0. The parameter p, where p is in the interval 0 to 1, represents the probability of success. We write x tilde Bernoulli of p to denote this distribution. Common examples include coin flips with heads or tails, quality control with pass or fail outcomes, and medical treatments with success or failure results. This distribution forms the building block for more complex, discrete distributions we'll explore later. Let's examine the complete properties of the Bernoulli distribution. The PMF is P of x equals 1 equals P for success, and P of x equals 0 equals 1 minus P for failure. The CDF is f sub x of x equals 0 if x less than 0, 1 minus P if 0 less than or equal to x less than 1, and 1 if x greater than or equal to 1. Key statistics include mean E of x equals P, variance var of x equals P times 1 minus P, and standard deviation sigma sub x equals the square root of P times 1 minus P. Notice how the variance is maximized when P equals 1/2, representing maximum uncertainty. Let's apply Bernoulli distribution to a quality control scenario. A manufacturing process produces items that pass quality inspection with probability 0.85. We model this as x equals inspection outcome, where 1 equals pass and 0 equals fail. So x tilde Bernoulli of 0.85, giving us an 85% pass rate. The statistical properties are E of x equals 0.85, var of x equals 0.85 times 0.15 equals 0.1275, and sigma sub x equals the square root of 0.1275, approximately 0.357. Let's perform a business impact analysis using our Bernoulli model. The cost structure per item includes inspection cost of $5 per item and rework cost of $50 per failed item. The expected cost per item equals 5 plus 50 times P of failure equals 5 plus 50 times 0.15 equals $12.50. Now consider a process improvement scenario where the success rate improves to 90%. The new expected cost equals 5 plus 50 times 0.10 equals $10. The savings equal $12.50 minus $10 equals to $50 per item, representing a 20% cost reduction. This demonstrates how probability models inform business decisions. The binomial distribution extends Bernoulli to multiple trials, modeling the number of successes in n independent Bernoulli trials. We have two parameters, n in the set 1, 2, 3, ... represents the number of trials, and p in the interval 0 to 1 represents the probability of success per trial. We write x tilde binomial of n, p. The sample space is 0, 1, 2, up to n, representing all possible numbers of successes. The key insight is that x counts the total number of successes across all trials, making it fundamental for analyzing repeated experiments. The binomial PMF is P of x equals k equals n choose k times p to the k times 1 minus p to the n minus k, for k equals 0, 1, 2, up to n. The binomial coefficient n choose k counts the ways to choose k successes from n trials. Key statistics include mean E of x equals np, variance var of x equals np times 1 minus p, standard deviation sigma sub x equals the square root of np times 1 minus p, and mode approximately equals the floor of n plus 1 times p. An important property, if y sub 1, y sub 2, up to y sub n are independent Bernoulli of p variables, then x equals y sub 1 plus y sub 2 plus ... plus y sub n follows binomial of n, p. Let's analyze a pharmaceutical clinical trial. A company tests a new drug on 20 patients, where historical data shows the standard treatment has a 60% success rate. The new drug achieves 15 out of 20 successful treatments. The question is the new drug significantly better? Our model set up X equals number of successful treatments out of 20. Under the null hypothesis, X tilde binomial of 20, 0.60. Our observed result is X equals 15. We need to determine if this result is statistically significant or could reasonably occur by chance. Let's analyze the expected distribution under the null hypothesis. E of X equals NP equals 20 times 0.6 equals 12. var of X equals NP times 1 minus P equals 20 times 0.6 times 0.4 equals 4.8. Sigma sub X equals the square root of 4.8, approximately 2.19. For our hypothesis test, H sub 0, P equals 0.60 versus H sub 1, P greater than 0.60. The p-value equals P of X greater than or equal to 15 given H sub 0, approximately 0.126. Our conclusion, since the p-value of 0.126 is greater than 0.05, we fail to reject H sub 0. The result is not statistically significant at the 5% level. Why wasn't our result significant? The trial was underpowered. Power calculations show that to detect improvement from 60% to 75% with 80% power at alpha equals 0.05, we need approximately 149 patients. Our current trial had only 20 patients. Our recommendations: conduct a larger phase 3 trial with N greater than or equal to 150, consider interim analysis after 75 patients, and recognize that current results are promising but inconclusive. This illustrates how probability theory guides experimental design. These concepts have extensive real-world applications. In medical and healthcare settings, we use Bernoulli and binomial distributions for drug efficacy trials, diagnostic test accuracy assessment, and epidemiological studies. Engineering and quality control applications include manufacturing defect rates, system reliability analysis, and statistical process control. In finance and business, these distributions model credit risk, support market research and surveys, and analyze insurance claims. The mathematical foundations we've covered today enable sophisticated analysis across all these domains. Let's review with some practice problems to test your understanding. Problem 1. A random variable x has range -1, 0, 2, 5 with probabilities proportional to 1, 2, 3, 4. Find the PMF. Problem 2. Given PDF f sub x of x equals kx squared for 0 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 2, find constant k and the median. Problem 3. For CDF f sub x of x equals x cubed on 0 to 1, find the PDF and P of 0.5 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 0.8. Problem 4. A quality inspector samples 50 items from a process with 5% defect rate. Find P of exactly 3 defects. Let's summarize the key concepts from today's presentation. Random variables are functions mapping sample space to real numbers, providing the bridge between abstract probability and numerical analysis. PMF for discrete variables satisfies P sub x of x equals P of x equals x, where values are probabilities. PDF for continuous variables has values that are densities, integrate for probabilities. CDF works universally. F sub x of x equals P of x less than or equal to x for all types. Key relationships. For discrete variables, f sub x of x equals the sum over t less than or equal to x of p sub x of t. For continuous variables, f sub x of x equals the integral from negative infinity to x of f sub x of t dt. Recovery formulas. F sub x of x equals f prime sub x of x, and p sub x of a equals f sub x of a minus f sub x of a minus. Thank you for joining me on this comprehensive journey through random variables and distribution functions. We've mastered the foundations of probability theory, from basic definitions through real-world applications. You now have the mathematical tools to analyze discrete and continuous distributions, work confidently with PMFS, PDFS, and CDFS, and apply these concepts to solve practical problems. Remember that these fundamental concepts form the cornerstone of advanced statistical analysis, machine learning, and data science. I encourage you to practice with the problems we've discussed and explore further applications in your field of interest. Questions and discussion are always welcome as you continue developing your probability theory expertise.